What is up, you guys? Welcome back to HTF Bets. I'm your co-host, Johan Blanco. And you know, Tyler Karen has been really bad this season. He's been struggling with Sharefire picks. So I told him, hey, go to Utah real quick. Go to the West Coast. Take a vacation. We don't really need you for the show. So I'm filling him for this week. But stay tuned. You know, we're talking the Super Bowl. Great game, by the way. I don't know if you heard of it. And we're also going to give you our Surefire Bets of the week. So stay tuned. HTF Bets starts right now. And we back. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to HTF Bets. I am your co-host, Johan Blanco. And to my left is always my regular co-host, Riley Shepard. And my guest co-host, who's working overtime but still getting paid nothing, Alex Funderbuck. How are you guys today?
I'm doing great. You know, you're looking good in that main host seat.
You know, I always knew I would be, but you know, we're not going to talk about that. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing great, man. I am excited to be a Bets boy for the day. Like Johan said, I am hosting every show this week, or guest appearing as I was on Girls on Deck earlier. But I'm excited. Johan is going to kill it in the main host seat. I'm excited. Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, we'll start off with something that Tyler touched up on last week. We're going to talk about your game of the week, and that is number 15 Villanova going over to Rhode Island to face number 11 Providence. So, Alex, give me a little bit about this game real quick.
Yeah, no, there's no spread out yet. But if I had to pick, I'm going to say Providence by 2. Providence, I would say, is the most exciting team in the country because no matter who they play, it's a very, very close game. I mean, they're coming off an overtime win against DePaul that saw them down 13 with a little over 9 minutes to go. This team is fun. You know, they got Nate Watson. He's averaging about 13.5 points a game. Jared Bynum and Al Durham have really stepped up of late. Al Durham is actually second in the country in free throws made. He's made 141 free throws, shooting 84%. And Villanova is Villanova. You know what you're getting with them. They're someone who's consistently going to be a very good team. They're a top 15 team all the time. The last time these two teams played in Providence was not that good. They finished 500 last year. But the last time they were in Providence won by 2. This Providence team is a lot better. This Villanova team is kind of the same as last season.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on Nate Watson, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award finalist. Providence is off to their best start since 1972. How about that? 14-0 at home this season, ranked 11 in the country. And I think if they can pull off this win against Jay Wright's Villanova Wildcats, they could find themselves in the top 10. Providence has been a great story so far this season, and I'm going to take them at home. They've been undefeated, and I don't see that changing.
Well, listen, these are arguably the top two teams in the Big East. One thing I will say is that the teams that Villanova has lost to this season, they have either been more physical, which is Baylor or UCLA, or they have spread the ball much better than Villanova, which is Purdue and Creighton. So I think Providence has the edge in both of those ends, so I would take Providence at home as well. But we're going to switch it up real quick. We're going to go from college basketball to NBA basketball. And Riley, you have the Celtics and Sixers, right?
Yes, I do. Tomorrow night, the C's are traveling to Philly to face off against. We'll see if James Harden is playing tomorrow night. That's the earliest he can play, and we'll see if he suits up. The Celtics have been arguably the hottest team in the NBA the last 10 games, winning 8 in a row and holding the Atlanta Hawks to 95 points last night, with 40 of those coming, only 40 in the second half, against a team that averages 111 this season. The Celtics defense, especially now acquiring Derek White, is looking so tough to score against. I mean, this team, we know Jason Tatum, we know Jaylen Brown, who ever since he tweeted that the tide is going to change or the energy is going to shift, it has. I mean, they've won 8 in a row, and they're 5th right now in the East, but they're only back 2.5 games. I'm going to take the Celtics. They've just been really hot, and even if James Harden does play, it's going to take some time for the 76ers to adjust.
Well, you sound like Tyler there. I thought I got rid of him this week, but okay, Alex, what do you think if James Harden does play against the Celtic tomorrow night? Do you think he'll have an instant impact on either the three-point end or kind of spreading the floor for the Sixers?
I think he's going to have an immediate impact. I mean, just think about a pick and roll with James Harden and Embiid. Look, I'm not a big James Harden believer. I've been outspoken against this, but him with Joel Embiid is going to be a very, very dangerous combo. I'm excited to see what he can accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, we know how good an offensive weapon that James Harden is. I mean, surrounding him with somebody like Tyrese Maxey, somebody like Tobias Harris, and even Matisse Thybulle and Danny Green, who are both very tough defenders on the perimeter. The 76ers team is going to be tough to beat, especially in the playoffs.
Well, listen, I think that you guys have both great points. I think that the 76ers got a lot better with acquiring James Harden. I think that moving Tobias Harris from the second option to the third scoring option makes them a little bit more easier to spread the ball and to kind of facilitate. James Harden's going to get his assist numbers back up. And, you know, speaking of the Celtics, shout out Tyler Cameron. I know he's so happy because his favorite player, Daniel Tice, is back on the Celtics.
Yes, sir.
He wants him to be MVP so bad.
Best
I
player
know
on the
you're
Celtics.
watching in Utah.
Best player on the Celtics.
Best player on the Celtics, Daniel Tice. Shout out Tyler Cameron. But now that we got done with that, you know, I missed fighting with Tyler. But you know what I can't talk about? More fights. Because this Saturday, boxing, BT Sports in the UK, Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Now listen, not the biggest high-profile fight, but it's very high-profile in Britain. And one thing I love in boxing is British boxing. Listen, Amir Khan comes into this fight, you know, past his prime. He hasn't fought since 2019 against Billy Dib, but he's very fast. He has one of the fastest hands in boxing history. I mean, he's so fast. He has a nice jab, great cross. He has quick and smart footwork and relies on opponents' momentum to kind of land significant power shots. One thing about him that has been evident throughout his entire career is that he has a glass jaw, kind of like how I knocked Tyler Cameron out of this seat this week. But Kell Brook is a guy who's tight and compact, and he has quick footwork as well. But one thing that I think gives him the advantage in this fight is that he's a great counterpuncher. I mean, he has some stiff shots. He throws everything really stiff and really hard, and he's usually the aggressor in the fight, and that might work in his favor when he's backing up Amir Khan. Riley, what do you think about this fight? Because, you know, we've heard that there's a lot of tension and animosity going to this fight, so what is your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the most highly anticipated welterweight bouts that, I mean, boxing fans have wanted for a long time. You touched that, you know, both of these guys are kind of, you know, out of their prime now, but it doesn't take away the fact that this has been a fight that a lot of boxing fans have wanted for a long time, and for good reason. I mean, you look at the track record of Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and I mean, Kell Brook opens as a slight 175 favorite. I'm not only going to take Kell Brook in this fight, but I'm going to take Kell Brook with a knockout.
Wow.
He's had 27 of his 39 wins have been via knockout. I mean, you touched on Khan. You know, he does kind of have a glass jaw. He's been knocked out 4 out of his 5 fights he's been knocked out in, and I think those are the odds to take. Not only Kell Brook taking the win, but also taking the knockout.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say is that this fight's at welterweight, and Kell Brook has had the most success in his career at welterweight, so that kind of works in his favor. Quick, who do you think is going to win this fight?
I think it's going to be Kell Brook because, like you said, it being welterweight does kind of favor him, as he is normally the aggressor in his fights. So I'm going to go with Kell Brook also in a knockout.
All right, that's great takes from you guys. We talked some college basketball, we talked some NBA basketball, we talked some fighting. Stay tuned for segment 2. We're going to recap last night's game. You might have heard of it. It's the Super Bowl. So stay tuned. We're going to go on to segment 2.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
Now the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing the I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know what those were.
Nitros, dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
It was rough.
What's groovy, baby? We're back here for HTF Bet for segment 2. Last night was the Super Bowl, and that means last night was the end of NFL football. We saw the Rams defeat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20, I believe, and in a very close game, which didn't start picking up dramatically until the fourth quarter. We are also joined here by hitting the Girls on Deck and hitting the field host, Hannah Jo Groves. Hannah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I didn't know I was going to be on bets, but here I am, and I couldn't be more happy to be here.
I like your shades. Where'd you get them at?
Just my friend, John Alfano.
All right, so we'll start off with you real quick. What did you think of the game last night?
Well, so my heart was with the Bengals. My head was with the Rams. I knew that the Rams would probably come out on top, so I wasn't super surprised by that. I was surprised, though, by how close of a game this was and how, for a lot of it, the Bengals were up in front with the lead. I was especially impressed with this Bengals defense, how they would not let the Rams get a run until the very, very end of the game and barely anything, if that. But overall, I can't say I was too surprised by the outcome.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't surprised either. I think that the Rams were the complete team. I did say it on main show at the very first episode that they were the most complete team in the NFC. But Alex, what did you think about the Super Bowl?
No, I'm not going to lie. The Super Bowl kind of surprised me once Odell got hurt. Once Odell got hurt, you saw it. The Rams could not run the ball. And that was pretty much because, they can just sit back in coverage, double team Cooper Kupp, and then they can just send everyone else to get their running backs like Cam Akers, right? So, but in that fourth quarter, Cam Akers started to wear him down. He got a couple good runs off. What didn't surprise me at all, though, was how that defensive line treated Joe Burrow. A Super Bowl record for sacks in a game. I mean, insane performance out of Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and those guys.
Riley?
Look, I mean, I'd taken the Rams, and there was a small part of me, which I'm very glad didn't pan out. I thought the Rams were legitimately going to blow out the Bengals. When you face a team who has the top defensive tackle in the NFL, arguably the top cornerback in the NFL, one of the most talented quarterbacks, despite spending the last 12 years with a poverty franchise such as the Detroit Lions, he was the #1 pick for a reason.
Aren't you a
That's
Lions
your
fan?
team, right?
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry for you. But yeah.
I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford. I mean, he was the #1 pick in the 2006 NFL draft for a reason. And I mean, he just proved to everybody how talented he is. I mean, he proved that in the past with the Lions, but now he was put on the spotlight and he performed.
Yeah, I think it was the 2009 draft that he was, but it's still before 2010, so before our time, but just kidding. But from Super Bowl to Super Bowl MVP, and we have to talk about Cooper Kupp's performance in this one because, I mean, he was very crucial in winning the Super Bowl. I mean,
John, can I?
Yes.
Cooper Kupp was not crucial. Do you know who's crucial?
Don't say it again.
Eli Apple. All right. Eli Apple
man.
is the worst player in the history of the NFL.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, no, I take that back. He's the second worst.
Are you
know-
taking
gosh.
away Cooper Kupp's amazing athleticism here by saying
Yes, I
that?
am, because you could have ran past Eli Apple.
that's not true. That's not true.
Are you taking away my athleticism?
Yes, I am. Johan could have done it. I could do it. My legs don't work.
We don't know if Riley can, but us three, we're confirmed. But
I can beat Eli Apple. My
But
legs
let's
don't work,
stick
bruh.
to topic. Hannah Jo,
Yeah.
what did you think of Cooper Kupp's MVP performance?
I think Cooper Kupp had a legendary season. This wasn't a name that was on my mind when the season started, but he definitely has proven to be one of the best receivers in the NFL, I think. You know what I like about this guy? He blocks for his runners. Sony Michel, Cam Akers, when they got the ball, which was rare, he would drop down and block for them. And so when he fake blocks, people believe him.
Right.
People believe that he's not going to get the ball. So then when he turns around and catches it in the end zone, that is a great player. That's a humble guy. And I really, really appreciate him. I think he was resilient last night. I'm talking on a Monday. Now it's Sunday night. I think he was resilient. He continued to get up even when he was knocked down by said Eli Apple. Fouled on a few times as well, and he was there to catch the ball and do what he needed to do.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Hannah. I mean, we saw Cooper Kupp, he did the Triple Crown as far as receiving goes. I mean, he led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns, But especially on that first touchdown that the Rams scored, he does such a great job of blocking on the run and blocking for his other receivers on the pass that, I mean, he was just left wide open in the end zone. I mean, that's how he corralled that first TD. And I mean, he had 92 yards.
Who was covering him on that first touchdown?
It was Eli Apple.
It was Eli Apple.
Yeah, well, listen, with this Super Bowl win, you can arguably say that Cooper Kupp solidified this season as the greatest wide receiver in season ever. And, you know, speaking of Eli Apple, I mean, he's a bum. I mean, he pretty much, you know, former New York Giant, by the way, he was pretty much a...
Interesting.
Yes, he was a bum and stuff. But we're gonna go from one trash giant to a great giant, and we're gonna talk about Odell Beckham Jr. because he did go down with a non-contact knee injury. Now, Alex, I'm gonna go to you first. How do you feel about OBJ going down?
Man, I wanted them to cancel the Super Bowl and just start playing again once he's healthy, because you saw it in that first quarter, the touchdown, then the 40-yard reception. Odell looked like he was going to smoke that defense. I was excited to see what he was going to do the rest of the game. Who knows? If he plays the rest of the game, we might be talking about Super Bowl MVP OBJ and now Cooper Kupp.
Maybe.
Right. And the thing is, you know, because I'm a Giants fan, he does hold near and dear to my heart. But it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see that he went down on the same knee that he tore his ACL on, which could possibly be re-torn. I mean, you have to think about it. He is one of the most dynamic receivers in recent NFL history. I mean, he basically, you know, kind of gave, you know, spotlight to the Giants while they were pretty bad. So, Riley, what did you think about this?
I mean, we saw he finished with 52 receiving yards before he went down with that injury, and you never want to see somebody go down with a non-contact injury like that. I mean, as soon as he stopped and they replayed what happened, I just got scared. I mean, Odell Beckham, like you said, is one of the most dynamic receivers in the NFL, and I think a lot of people forgot about that during his time in Cleveland, but now he actually got to shine on a high stage. And, I mean, he finished with a touchdown, 52 receiving yards, and I think a lot of people are now starting to realize that even though he did, you know, waste some time with the Cleveland Browns, that he's now actually
a war criminal.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's a war criminal. Rest him. But we talked about the winning team. There was another team in the Super Bowl, the losing team, the Cincinnati Bengals. So, Hannah Jo, I want to go to you first. What's next for them?
Well, I said this before on Girls on Deck. You know, they're comparing Joe Burrow. He's in his second year. Dan Marino also made it to the Super Bowl in his second year and was pretty confident that he'd be back. And so I'm worried that the same thing could be happening to Joe Burrow now. He's young, of course. He's got a young receiver in Jamar Chase who, you know, they both have a lot of years ahead of them that are going to be great. But I don't know if they're going to be able to make it back to the Super Bowl for a few years here. I feel like the luck of the draw was in their favor this year. I mean, the only way that they have a shot is if they get an offensive line for Joe Burrow. If he's not getting at least like 5 sacks in every single game he plays. That's the only way they have a shot of going back. And, I mean, they showed us last year they're not smart enough to get that for him. So, I don't know about the Bengals. I said my heart is with their fan base. I wanted them to win. I wanted the Rams to win too. I was torn, but I'm sad for their fan base. Still, they do not have a Super Bowl in their whole franchise history. I don't know if it's coming anytime soon, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely think that, you know, it's kind of scary to think that Joe Burrow might not be in another Super Bowl in the rest of his career, but we have to think reality-wise. I mean, there's a chance that might happen. One thing they do need is they need to draft an offensive lineman, because the amount of times this guy has been stacked throughout the entire playoffs is unbelievable. I mean, the fact that he made the Super Bowl with that, you know, putrid line just shows how impactful and how once-in-a-generation talent he is.
Yeah, and I mean, he still had, if you look at his number, he still had a great game overall despite being sacked 7 times, 16 in total if you count the divisional round against Tennessee. But he still performed. He didn't throw an interception. And I was genuinely impressed with his receiving core, especially T. Higgins, who finished with 100 yards. Jamar Chase had a much better game than I personally thought he was going to have. And even Tyler Boyd corralled a few receptions as well. But, I mean, Joe Burrow, they're going to be back. If they draft an offensive line, they'll be back.
Riley, but you got to think, all the quarterbacks in the AFC, you got Josh Allen, Shoot, Mac Jones looked good. I'm not going to bet the bank on Mac Jones
He looked
yet,
good doing the gritty too.
but
huh,
he
Alex?
looked good, right?
No.
And then in their division, you have Lamar Jackson who's going to be healthy.
Here's
Well,
You also have
these
Mahomes.
are pretty good.
You
points.
also have Herbert, and if the Broncos get Aaron Rodgers, the AFC is going to be stacked. I don't see them getting back to the
These
Super
are
Bowl.
pretty good points, but the most important point, the most important thing at the Super Bowl was the Gatorade color, which this guy got right, and apparently I got wrong because I'm colorblind, because I really thought red was blue, and that's why I got it wrong. And, you know, that's how much power I hold. You know, Tyler's not here right now. He got it wrong, and he's out, and I got it wrong, and I'm in the middle. What'd you think? Wait, no, Hannah Jo, didn't you say purple? Yeah, you're speechless, right? Yeah, that was a dumb pick. What'd you think?
So look, I wasn't asked this question, but I said blue in my head. So
In your head, okay.
No, you didn't. Don't
I
lie.
wasn't
Don't lie
asked-
to the.
I
Don't lie
wasn't-
I'm
to
out
I-
here trying to have a hot take, and you're like, yeah, well, I said blue in my head.
I said
They're-
blue in my
they're
head.
really-
Look, I
No.
wasn't on air
No.
to be asked the question.
No,
So
my thing was I didn't think they were gonna go back to back Gatorade colors. I didn't
Right.
think they were gonna go blue right away. First off,
I don't know
even-
why you didn't.
Why? Because
Why
that's
you didn't?
stupid. That's stupid. Alternate. Why would you go with the
There's
same
not
thing?
there is not a dynasty in the NFL right now besides the fact that blue is the
That's what I was
color
just
of
gonna
the
say.
Super Bowl.
Isn't blue
no.
like the best color too, like the best flavor?
I s-
It is.
It is.
Wasn't the Super Bowl logo red, like the color?
yeah, but you also got to keep in mind it's the Rams that won, and they're
Oh, and they're blue. That's right.
blue, right?
The Bucks won last year and it was blue.
That's fair.
That's fair too. So shouldn't have that been red? That's why I'm saying this criteria
Because
does
nobody
not
wants
make
to drink
sense.
red Gatorade.
What do you
Red
mean?
Gatorade's
Nobody
overrated,
wants to
bro.
drink
What do you
red
mean?
Red
Gatorade.
Gatorade's overrated.
What do you
Why
mean?
would you go through an entire NFL season and you're celebrated with red Gatorade? I would be mad.
I want to quench my thirst with some fruit punch flavor.
No.
Yes, that's
No,
what they
nobody
say.
says that.
No.
That's what they say.
Nobody
they don't
says that.
say. They
You're
don't
the only
say.
one.
I want grape. They really
No,
don't.
no.
Yeah, they-
Listen,
That's
I-
okay.
They say they
listen, I
want
was
blue
trying
cool
to have a
because blue
hot
cool is the
take.
best
I was
flavor.
trying.
Well, listen.
Thank you, Riley.
All our hot takes, you guys are liars. All our hot takes, you know, with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a great match, the great season, a great NFL season. You know, I can't wait for, you know, August and stuff like that.
205 days until the next
We'll
football
come back
game.
for segment 3 as we get to our favorite part of this show, our Surefire Bets of the weeks. Stay tuned. I'm going with Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
God.
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL
my
is gonna
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
And we are back. And with that, we come to me and Riley's favorite part of the show, and that is our Surefire Bets of the week. I am currently undefeated at 4-0-1. Riley's currently undefeated at 5-0. And technically, Alex is undefeated too because he's 0-0. So, hey, team undefeated.
Let's
team
go.
undefeated.
Let's
hey,
go.
Tyler, you're a loser. But anyways, Riley, let's go with you first. Let's go with your Surefire Bet of the week.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with basketball as my game of the week, and it's gonna be my Surefire Bet of the week. But it's gonna be tonight. The Sacramento Kings are traveling to Brooklyn. They open up as a 4-point favorite tonight, 7:30. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis seem to be gelling just fine. The trading away Tyrese Halliburton was a little questionable, I'm not going to lie, but I'm not a GM for a reason. Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox seem to be having a great time playing together. So I'm going to take the Kings money line. Traveling to Brooklyn, they're playing away, but I still think they're going to pull off the win.
Yeah, you're definitely not a GM for a reason. You're too young for that. I think there's an age requirement, but I like that because, Brooklyn is very thin right now, and really they're lacking in the post, and that's where Domantas Sabonis plays, and I think that he'll exploit that. Alex, what is your first ever Surefire pick of the week?
My first, Johan, this pains me. This pains me. This pains me. But our New York Knicks are going to Oklahoma City tonight. And the line just moved, actually.
Oh, gosh.
We opened as 8-point favorites. The Knicks are now 10-point favorites. Bet your entire life savings, to quote Johan Blanco, on the Oklahoma City Thunder to cover this spread. The Knicks will not have Nerlens Noel. Mitch Robb is day-to-day. Cam Reddish is day-to-day. And they won't have R.J. Barrett. This is the same team that just went to Portland, who probably would lose to all 25 of the top 25 men's basketball teams in college basketball right now. They had a 12-point lead going into the fourth and lost by 9. This Knicks team is not, they might win, but they're not going to win by 10 points. Bet everything you have on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, and going into the season, Oklahoma City was rebuilding, and we had playoff hopes. So you see how we're now. We're in 11 playing field, and that's pretty disappointing. But my Surefire pick of the week is another fight, because why would I go with if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm going to go with not boxing, not MMA, but bare knuckle boxing. BKFC this Friday. It is Mike Perry versus Julian Lane in the main event. This is Mike Perry's first ever BKFC event. I'm going to go with the debutant to defeat Julian Lane, and I think he's going to knock him out. Now, Hannah Jo, this is your first ever one too.
Yeah, you forgot to mention that I'm also undefeated.
Oh yeah, team undefeated.
Thank
Air
you.
high five. What is your Surefire pick of the week?
Don't you dare say what I think you're about to say.
You're going to say it. Just say it.
If you're not paying attention, Bets viewers, look me in the eyes.
Oh, man. This is
Aaron
intimate.
Rodgers is not going to be Denver's quarterback next
Yes,
season.
he is.
No,
Yes,
you're
he
wrong.
is.
Why do you say that?
You're
going to.
wrong.
Why do you say,
Everything
why am I wrong?
the Broncos are doing is to court Aaron Rodgers.
If he didn't do it last season, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, no, he's going to do it because last season.
Where do you predict that Aaron Rodgers is going to play?
Because it's not Green Bay.
Wouldn't you want him at the Lions, Riley?
No.
I would, but he would never want to play in Detroit.
Why would, hold on,
ever.
Hannah.
Why would he want to play in
Detroit?
Denver?
They don't have the roster there.
Denver has a great defense.
Denver
that's
has
why.
a roster.
Denver has a roster.
Okay, well, so does isn't Seattle going to need a new quarterback? Well, let's take, you know what? Denver can
Seattle's
take
gonna
Russell
blow it up.
Wilson.
Seattle's going to blow it up. Denver's trying to win. That's why he's in the best situation to go to Denver.
So Russell Wilson to Denver.
He's going
No.
to the Bucks.
All I'm
we're not
hearing
gonna
is
talk about
Russell Wilson to Denver.
No, all
Yeah.
I'm hearing is Aaron Rodgers just got traded. But that's okay. We're not going to talk about that because that is all the time we have. It has been a great show. I am glad that I was in the middle this time. We should do this more often. I don't really like that tall guy around. But thank you guys for watching. It has been great. We'll see you next week on Thursday. But stay tuned this Thursday for main show. We have a special one for you. Peace out, guys.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the